Space Association is primarily an outreach program. We are a nonprofit organization, like you said, where we focus on educating the general public on space ventures, not only in the commercial realm, but the private sector as well. And how we do that is we have a bunch of different chapters that are set up throughout the United States, and anyone who's interested can either create their own chapter if there isn't one at their local area, and can go ahead and do features with space or reach out to other people that are in the space industry for themselves if there isn't a space chapter already there. So what they can do is go to our website and they can check all the listings of the current chapters. If there isn't one, there is a button where they can either create their own or see if there's anybody already in the process of creating one out in that area. So back to what you said, what do we do? Well, we are an outreach program, so we try to get anybody who's interested into the space industry to go to these space meetings, to show up and talk to people, network, and educate themselves. And with that knowledge, they're able to go out and educate other people in the general public about it. I find that most people believe that NASA, the shuttle missions went away, and that's it. There is no more NASA, budget cuts, and that's it. And so when people find out that I am the founder of the Space Association, they're like, well, why? Well, what's next? Isn't the whole shuttle program done with? There is no more going to space for the U.S. And I say, not at all. There's a huge private sector. It's growing. You have the X Prize Foundation. You have all these spaceports that are booming all over the place. You have Spaceport America, in addition to Virgin Galactic, and then when you throw the name Virgin out there, they're like Virgin Airlines and Virgin Trains, and you're like, yeah, actually, it's the same guy, and he basically has been the forefront of the tourist side of it. Now, you also have a different side of it where you have more of a practical approach, where you have SpaceX taking supplies, or going to be taking supplies to the International Space Station. And hopefully you have people. Then you have a different LEO part of it, where you want to send experiments up and just see how they interact with the zero gravity, low gravity situation.
So what sort of new ways then can you approach the general public and try to make them aware of these ideas without them feeling silly or not knowledgeable on the subject? And how can you allow them to be comfortable enough to ask what they might think are dumb questions?
Well, you have to kind of approach the public, and you can't just wait. You can't be like, okay, well, here we are. If you're interested, come join us. Because at that point, they're going to be like, well, if they're not making effort to come out and meet and greet us, they obviously are so far into the industry, I'm not going to join them because I'm scared. So what we do is we have outreach programs where we will do, like the Altus chapter. We have a space chapter out in Altus, Oklahoma. And they have done weather balloons, where they'll send a weather balloon up and they'll track it with GPS. You can follow that online and see where the weather balloon's going, how high it's going, and they have a camera that's attached taking photos, and they make it a day event where they'll go out to this park, they'll advertise. They had an article in the Altus Times newspaper, and that received about 1,000 hits in the day right after, which was great. And so they advertised, and they got people to show up at the park and launch model rockets. They talked about space. And then while they waited for the balloon to come down, William McCarter, he's the president of the Altus chapter, he is big into astronomy. So he has a telescope with a solar filter on it, and they were able to look at the sun, look at the planets at nighttime, so while they were waiting. And they were able to get a lot of feedback from the public, which is a great way to do it. Another way is that you have all of these science museums, they're trying to appeal to the space community, where they want to kind of hear everybody's story, is what I've been getting from the past couple of conferences I've been to. They're interested on the story aspect of what these people that used to work on the space shuttle missions and everybody behind the scenes, because everybody has a story to tell. And what they want to do is that they have these, I guess it's a collaboration between a bunch of different museums where they are sharing knowledge. And that is probably the next thing that I want to touch on is knowledge sharing. I believe that is a huge, important part of it, where you need to be able to share the information that you have. another phrase that has been reiterated many times is we do not need to reinvent the wheel. The wheel is there, we just need to share. We need to share our information with each other, given I know there are all these other companies who have secret things, which is, that's their niche in the market is what they are producing. However, when you have a general knowledge of something, I believe that that information needs to be shared across the board, where you can better the space community, not on a personal gain, but on a whole.